This is Cheyenne and
Christopher,
and yes, they're twins. Like other siblings, they don't get along but they sort things out. But these bitches, I mean twins, don't get along at all. Cheyenne is the opposite and does her own thing, but Chris is just a menace. For example, when Cheyenne and Chris was 4, Cheyenne was gifted a diary and Chris was gifted a football. Chris notices that Cheyenne was writing on her diary a lot. When they got to kindergarten, Cheyenne liked a boy who was in the 5th grade. She wrote on how they wished they got married and to go out a lot, but Chris kinda knew with his nosy ass and took Cheyenne's diary and read it.
The twins were in the same class and Chris read Cheyenne's diary in front of the whole class. Cheyenne started crashing out and they got into a huge fight. They got put into detention for a whole week. Their parents often fight a lot because of them.
My daughter had a reason to fight Christina. This thing touched my beautiful baby first.
Their mom yelled.
His name is fucking Chris, not Christina. And yes, they're both 5 years old. They don't know better but tell Cheyenne to get it under fucking control.
Their dad roared. After months later of yelling and arguing instead of solving two problems, they got a divorce. Their mom took Cheyenne and their dad took Chris. All moved to different states, meaning they had to switch schools. While Chris lived with his dad, they moved into a small one-bedroom apartment with literally no internet and no Wi-Fi. There was an arcade downstairs from where they lived, and Chris and his father went downstairs to play. The arcade was packed a lot, but then his father realized that he could get a job here working as a bartender. He accepted the offer and started working. Chris went to a new school, and started playing football again. While Cheyenne was living with her mom, they moved into a comfort home, obviously, but Cheyenne started homeschooling and her mom started working at home as an accountant. Things were overwhelming for all 4 of them, so years passed. They started moving on with their separate lives. Chris's football journey was going pretty well and won all of his games, but Cheyenne on the other hand didn't want to do anything but go on millions of shopping sprees.
Behind Cheyenne and her mom's house, there was a huge tennis court, so Cheyenne got involved in tennis, but was rarely there. That was until one day, she met a friend. Her new friend's name is Lorianne and she was the top league of the tennis team.
So why don't I be seeing you around here?
Lorianne questioned. My crazy ass mom really wants me to be involved in sports. I'm homeschooled, so I guess that shit makes sense when you put that shit together, Cheyenne replied.
You're homeschooled? That's what's up. I wish I was, but I'm kinda nerdy, so I definitely need them credits. But hey, you should definitely come over to my house. It's up the Eastern Shore and it's like 22 hours away, but it's whatever,
Lorianne said. Cheyenne was confused and asked, why is your hobby 22 hours away from where you live? And my mom is so strict she might say no.
Well, where I'm from there isn't shit out there. There's only one gas station, literally one schoolhouse, and no entertainment centers. What we only got is rundown apartments. The arcade where me and my boyfriend always go, and the candy store filled with a lot of candy, Lorianne explained. But ask your mom that if you can go to my house.
Cheyenne did and her mom went ballistic.
Are you fucking kidding me right now? There's no fucking way I'm driving all the way over to the Eastern Shore. That's wasting gas money and I don't have that money.
After spending 6 nights at hotels just to go to a literal friend's house, Lorianne was right. It literally looked like an abandoned Wild West. Literally there was weird fast food restaurants underneath buildings and there was trees everywhere. They went to Lorianne's apartment and surprisingly, it looked luxurious from the inside, but on the outside, hell nah.
Where are your parents? And plus, do they know that I was coming over? Cheyenne questioned.
My parents are very hard workers, so they wouldn't mind,
Lorianne said. After hours of spending time together, they got bored. They watched a movie and they still got bored.
I'ma call my boyfriend over. He's so funny and he's a football player at my school. We can go to the arcade later since his dad works there and he gives us free play there,
Lorianne said. Lorianne called her boyfriend and told him to meet up at the arcade. They drove to the arcade. When they got there, Lorianne introduced themselves and yes, y'all already know I'm talking about Chris.
Nice to meet you, Chris said. Cheyenne froze. She remembered it was Chris, her literal twin brother, and after years, Cheyenne didn't realize it was him until now but didn't want to question it. Are you okay? Chris said.
Yeah, I'm Gucci, Cheyenne said. Sorry, it's just that you look a lot like me, don't ya think?
Nah, we don't, but kinda, but it's whatever, Chris said. They played the games at the arcade and after Chris went upstairs to his apartment, they left the arcade and went to Lorianne's apartment. Cheyenne broke down in tears explaining what happened and that Lorianne's boyfriend was her twin. Lorianne was surprised.
I did know that you two looked alike when I first met you. I literally thought you looked like a female version of my boyfriend, but damn, I didn't know that y'all was actually twins.
Lorianne said, laughing. Cheyenne got an idea. Wait, if I never saw my dad for the last 10 years, then I should know what he's doing and what Chris's lifestyle was like for so long. I want to know what it's like for him, Cheyenne said.
So what you're saying is that you want to live with your dad and go in Chris's shoes, and you're gonna convince Chris to live with your mom's house?
Lorianne questioned. Yes, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I got a plan, Cheyenne said. This is the first part of this story. Like for the second one and also make sure to subscribe as well.